Hi, I'm Tahlia.
And I'm Zach.
Welcome to the Inspired Guidance Podcast. This is where we real talk on all things spiritual. We are two psychic mediums from Adelaide. We have our own spiritual businesses and we have joined forces for the one ultimate goal to help heal the collective one piece at a time. If you're new, thanks for joining. If you're returning, welcome back. And we also want to acknowledge that we are recording on Ghana country today. Now, this is piece 8,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is, yes.
Piece number 8, and we are so excited to do this episode because we just feel like this topic is so relevant this week, and that topic is alignment. So we're talking, what is alignment? What does that mean when we talk about soul alignment and spiritual alignment? How do you align with your highest path? How to know when you are aligned, when you're not. So there's quite a bit involved in alignment.
Absolutely. So let's start from the real beginning, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about conditioning, childhood and conditioning. So a little bit about becoming into alignment is about questioning the beliefs that you've kind of grown up with or that you've been taught, finding your own set of beliefs and purposes. That's really the first kind of step, I believe, that you can kind of take yourself to be independent and have agency. Because when you have agency, I find, and you're feeling confident to make your own decisions, when you slow down, then you kind of get that intuition come through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that kind of happens, in our generation, it was probably something that happened in our young adult years, but I feel like in the younger generations these days, it's happening in their teenage years.
Oh, dude, they're like the younger generations are coming through and it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're like 12, 13, 14, and they're like, no, you will not tell me what to do. I'm doing what I want to do, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And it's actually not about rebellion. It's actually trying to find out what their purpose is, how they fit in life. Actually, how can they live a life that's meaningful to them? That's actually where that's coming from.
It's just self-expression, it's their beliefs, and they're just coming to those realizations and doing that research earlier.
Yeah,
because
100%.
Obviously things are different with the internet now and phones and things, it was a bit slower for us. But yes, it's certainly happening at a younger age. I would just zoom out a touch and go back one step, because we didn't talk about early childhood. So when we're born and when you're basically before you go to school, so those very early years, we're actually automatically aligned with our path because children are so innocent.
Really good to
and
start
so
there.
So I just wanted to make sure that we just give you the whole sort of timeline of how this works from birth to death. So
what does a child look like when it's already aligned? It's not fearful and scared of everything. It's curious and inquisitive.
Yeah, and sometimes they will be scared because they're so aligned. Sometimes they see spirits in their bedroom. Sometimes they see, stuff that is scary. But they'd actually, even if they say things to their parents and it sounds scary, or they'll see things that make them feel a bit uncomfortable, they're still at peace. So I think that's the point that what you're addressing, because they're aligned. So because they're so innocent, they're automatically aligned. It's not until they start going to school, parents get a bit more involved, blah, 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 and the minds sort of start getting shaped by the ego and the 3D, that they become less aligned and, you get into
that conditioning, right?
The conditioning, yeah.
And then when they become a bit older, into teenage years, they're kind of looking back being like, actually, let's flip that and reverse it because we don't want that for ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, and there is a few other things that these early childhood years will show, when kids are aligned. So they will say crazy things that you're just like, how do you know that at that age? It's because they're getting that wisdom from a spirit download. It's not coming from the 3D world. They will say that they see friends. They will talk to people that aren't there. I'm missing What else?
They might even see people or try and reach up and grab.
Oh yeah, grabbing things.
Yeah. they might even, when they're a bit older, have an amnesia kind of come back to them, where they recognize a past life memory. So they might be they might explain to you, hey mum, hey dad, remember when I was 55 years old and I was on this helicopter and I crashed? And like there was all these people around me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's not them just making it up. They're remembering past lives here. So
yeah, and that does happen.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone's like, these people have totally lost their mind. No, this is real stories. This stuff happens.
Yeah, it does for sure. Well, let's fast forward a little bit to adulthood, right?
Yep. So we're up to the point where we're, how did you describe it? Deconditioning and reprogramming from a self-reflective place.
So as an adult, when we think about alignment, what that kind of means is living your path and kind of honouring your life's path journey, right? Mm-hmm. And having a look at the timelines that are in front of you and living your life intuitively so that you can get the most out of this learning experience that we are basically on this earth school. And in order for us to live in alignment, it needs to be a rich learning environment. We need to reflect, we need to help others, and we need to basically awaken spiritually. And so these are the three or four key things that kind of can hint to you when you're an adult and you feel in alignment. This kind of all comes together to feel one kind of great emotion. What is that?
Yeah, it's love.
Yeah, and
so
peace.
You're just coming into love and peace.
Yeah,
you're doing things out of a place of love, not out of a place of lack or jealousy or ego. Everything is just love, and like it's a really hard thing to come into. This actually probably will happen over many years, because it's like a seed gets planted,
like cycles of it as well.
Yeah. So to make it probably as simple as possible, when we're talking about like the conditioning and the 3D world, of course we mean people before they have spiritually awakened, and they're just sort of still in that closed-minded mindset.
Yeah, that cause effect, that point scoring, like a tit for tat.
And it's very self-focused. Like everything is about them, everything affects them.
Yeah.
Even when it obviously, things that have nothing to do with them. Yeah. So that's the 3D mindset. And these people find it very challenging to believe literally anything other than what's already in their head. It's just like, nope, that can't possibly be right. This is right. So that's what we mean by sort of closed-minded, is they don't see outside of their own perceptions. So yeah, a seed will get planted somewhere. Yeah. Whether it's like in an argument with someone and someone says something to these people that wakes them up, they'll reject it at first because the ego is very big, but somewhere in the back of their mind that seed will just replay. They'll hear the words of that person over and over again. They'll see synchronicities, like it'll keep coming up again and again, and eventually our minds, just the way that they work and the intuition, will just keep pushing through until we acknowledge it, and then slowly you're stepping towards your spiritual awakening.
I love that analogy. It's like you plant the seed and then they start to see that reflected back into them in their life, like the environment they were once comfortable in becomes uncomfortable. And increasingly uncomfortable. And it pushes them, like while you were saying it, like literally pushes them to see another side, to have another conscious perspective. And that's huge when it comes to alignment. Alignment and spiritual awakenings go hand in hand, guys.
So that's like 3D. I think what I was trying to say, to make it like as basic as possible, we've described 3D, right? And that over time you start to awaken. So your spiritual awakening is one thing. Alignment comes after that. So there's still two separate things. Just because you've had a spiritual awakening doesn't necessarily mean you're aligned. It just means that your mind has been opened to a greater perspective and you're now understanding that there's something bigger than just what we see in the physical realm. So that's your spiritual awakening.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Tahlia. So say I'm an awakened individual and I'm quite spiritual. What are the signs that you find would be helpful for me to take notice of so that I can be conscious if I'm becoming falling out of alignment.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so the awareness is one thing, and obviously you're going to need that to be able to come into alignment in the first place. So if you have that mindset, but you're still stuck in the 3D, you will feel things like confusion and loss. Even though you know you're an intuitive person, you won't be able to sort of trust or read into that intuition. So you do get, it's similar to the dark night of the soul, but less intense. So you just feel this sort of
like
fog.
second guessing?
Yeah, a little bit of a
this
fog
can't
about.
really be for me. Like I can't really see through a way forward. It's really it's kind of heavy. Those kinds of feelings.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably just a bit more like sensitive to other people around you as well. So you can be aware, but what's in your environment? So if you're in a relationship with someone who's unaware, and they're fluctuating all over the place, or in a job or in a living situation or a whatever with these people that are unaligned, then there's going to be things like conflict. Like literally you're going to be fighting, like just anything toxic is going to come out of these workplaces, these relationships, these whatever, because your awareness is trying to get up to the 5D and the people around you are sitting in the 3D, and they want to keep you stuck with them, because that's how like devil energy or toxic energy works, when we're in those really sort of unhealthy mindsets that are so closed in. So you will be clashing with people, you might have bad luck, things just never work out for you, no matter what you try to do, you end up back in the same situation, because you're choosing to, these influences are still exist. So basically until we cut those anchors off, and allow ourselves to totally rise, you'll keep getting sucked back into that 3D, yeah.
Okay, there's a few points I want to mention here, right?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about alignment and spiritual awakening, and a lot of the times you might find that you're feeling a little bit individual and like the black sheep because you're seeing things a bit differently, and you're living a life very different to your family or your friends. They might start questioning and like being that anchor, heads up, it's okay for them to be in the third dimension. It's okay for them to be where they're at.
Yeah.
So don't look at this as, and I know it's really easy for us to get tempted to say, well, I've awakened, like, oh, yuck, I don't want to deal with your 3D energy. No, what it really is about is you changing your habits and your life and your environment to thrive, and let them do the same in their own time, if in this lifetime it is their purpose too. So it's really important that when we are aligned, we don't have like another kind of false sense of ego or false sense of righteousness to say, I've actually worked through all of my crap, I'm awesome, I've got all this stuff. Yeah, you might be, but other people are allowed to struggle, other people are allowed to try and fail and use their free will to come to their own awakening, if it is in their lifetime's kind of path, really. And
we have to let them do that on their own timeline. Because if you're going around saying, you're not awakened, you need to awaken, you're being an ego, like that's an ego speaking, thinking that you are in charge of that person and can tell them what to do. So there is it's a difficult thing to have restraint a lot of the time when you're awakened and you're aligned and you see these things and there's nothing you can do about it, because it's not our place, it's not our job. These people have to go through their journeys as they're meant to. But I'm so glad that you clarified that point, because when I'm saying you have toxic anchors that keep you stuck in the 3D, that's not every single thing or person in your life that's not awakened. So it's only the ones that are actually preventing you from rising to like 5D consciousness or to your highest timeline. So if it's specifically, it might be a job or usually a partner, like it's someone that's quite significant in our lives and can have quite a significant effect on us. Family, when we get into adulthood, yes, they can be those people that we need to disconnect from, absolutely. But a lot of the time, you know, we have a healthy sort of distance from our family anyway. You may no longer live at home. And so those are very manageable relationships, whether family are in the 3D or not. They can still maybe not understand where you're going, but they will support you. And so that's manageable 3D and 5D relationships. And it's very possible.
And you can still have a very loving relationship with your family, and it be healthy, and it be really, really healing for you to have that kind of relationship. But I guess, think of it this way. If you're finding that you're a little bit different, that you're, I suppose, seeing things from a different perspective and just kind of your eyes kind of wide open, I love to call this, do an energy audit. Think about what actions, what beliefs, what behaviors are there that are around you, and ask yourself, is this impacting my free will? So what I mean by that is someone's opinion, is someone's action, is someone preventing you? Like basically what Tahlia's saying, but just reframe it. Is this preventing my free will? Yes or no? If it is, elevate up and elevate out. Because you need your own free will just as much as they need theirs as well.
Yeah, so let's just summarize a quick little how to tell if this person is a supportive 3D or an anchor 3D.
There we go.
So a supportive 3D will be like, literally, like they'll probably literally tell you, like, I think what you're doing is great, you know, it's not for me, but I totally, like, they're coming from a place of love. Now you are going to know if someone's coming from a place of love or coming from a place of like an ego or a toxic negative trait where they're just taking and demanding from you. Like a healthy 3D will not expect anything from you in return. They will just be supportive, and you'll feel loved. Like, you're going to know when you're around these people how they make you feel. If it is a anchor 3D, so something that we need to really look out for, because it's literally holding us back and it is preventing us from rising in our lives and having success. Like, they could literally keep, like, your finances. You may actually be, let's say you're studying or you're applying for work, and just you're applying for jobs left, right and center, and you're not getting anything. And like, that can be from having an anchor there, because it's like spirit will not let you go to the next phase because that anchor will sabotage it. So it's just blocked. So that's protection by the universe. So yeah, you'll know things like that because, like, let's say you have an interview and this person who is the anchor or whatever that looks like in your life, some, I don't know, emergency or situation will arise on that day, orchestrated by them, that happens to prevent you from going to your interview. So direct blocks that keep you from progressing on your path, that's one way that, like, you're going to clearly see, if it wasn't for that person, I would have had that opportunity. If it wasn't for that person, I wouldn't have had that, like, bad luck kind of thing. And we're not just putting blame on other people. This is a pattern that you're going to see repeated multiple times, so that you can put it together and start to work out like what's stopping you here.
And that's more of a covert or a subtle way that someone might distract you from your path, right? And it could be completely unintentional on their part. But I want you to also think about, for those listening and watching, that the ones that make you feel a shame or a guilt response, when you're putting yourself first, when you're doing things that make you happy, when they say things to you like, oh, like, I didn't ever see you doing any of these things before, or, oh, you've really changed. Actually, you kind of make me feel uncomfortable with your new beliefs and your woo-woo and all this kind of stuff. You know, if they're trying to elicit a shame or a guilt response, that is clear that they are trying to keep you where it's comfortable for them.
Yeah, because they're getting something from you for free. Instead of doing their work and getting these things for themselves. So yeah, it is a manipulative relationship. Like I said, there's going to be clear signs that will highlight which is which for you. It's just that when we're in those states of mind, our minds are very good at tricking us into seeing the positive, even in these, you know, manipulative situations. And so we make a lot of excuses, but again, you know, it's part of the process. It's how our minds work. We just go through it. It will always come back around as many times as it needs to for you to learn the lesson.
Yeah. Cool. I want to talk about something that I think is really important as well. It's
sorry. Before you
good?
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
Just on the 3D anchors, like we're not trying to say that there's all these bad people out here that just want to sabotage your life. Like you mentioned, it's not intentional. These people are manipulated themselves by a dark energy, and they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They're just in survival mode. They're not willing to do sort of certain work on themselves. They're in denial, and so they're projecting.
Yeah. Oh, they're really comfortable by the conditioning of society.
Yeah, and they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
So they don't fully understand what they're preventing you from doing. They just don't have that concept. Yeah. So it can be unintentional, but at the same time, it's also very damaging. So we got to this is where, again, everything comes back to our own judgment, and we've got to do a lot of these reviews and these energy audits to keep ourselves clear and on aligned, our aligned path.
Beautiful. What I wanted to talk about was being in alignment with your work, because we spend a lot of time, right, in our lives working for the man, working for the woman, so if it's a 9-to-5 job, Monday to Friday, you're spending 8 hours a day in a building, and you're spending 2 days on the weekend, like outside of that.
Yeah,
so
or working for yourselves 24/7,
yeah, that's right.
like we do.
So it's really important that you kind of do a bit of an audit in yourself. Am I happy in my job? Does this job bring me a few things, right? Just to double check to see if it's aligned to yourself, to your soul. 1, is this job aligned to my values, right? When I go to work every day, do I live my values? And if you don't know what your values are, great. It's time to start asking yourself. Number 2, does my job give me a sense of fulfillment? Do I feel excited to come to work, or do I feel energized when I come to work? Number 3 is, what outcome do I get out of my job that is more than the pay that I take home? And if that is something that sticks with you, it's true job satisfaction, and it resonates within your soul, then you're in alignment with your career. Anything else, if you're getting a really deep gut feeling, or your chest is starting to feel really, really heavy, and you're kind of realizing, well, actually, I'm only here because I need to be to pay bills, that's great to come to that awareness. And start making tracks to make yourself a bit happier in the way of your career life, right? Because, say for instance, it's not your job to jump into a spiritual career path. That's fine. If it is, great. If it's not, that's also great. But we spend so much of our time at work, don't we?
Yeah,
we need
absolutely.
to be happy.
It's like your second home, or even more than some people's homes sometimes.
We need to be happy, don't we, guys? So this is your time. This is your, I suppose, reminder to kind of think about, am I in alignment with my career? Yeah,
or just, is this fulfilling me?
Yeah.
If you're not getting fulfillment out of it, then you should be asking some big questions. If you're tired after work and you can't manage anything but to slump into a chair and not get up for the rest of the day, then, that's quite a big sign there that you're being drained, literally, by this thing, and it's not returning the energy back to you. Yeah. Lots of signs. We have mentioned them, sort of highlighted them in previous episodes. It's something that is common and will come up again. I do just want to say, on the values point that you made, we have non-negotiable values and negotiable values. So you want to, definitely, if you don't know what they are, you want to work out what your non-negotiable values are. And your negotiable ones can be flexible. You can work them out over time. But an example of a non-negotiable in relation to your work setting would be, do I believe in what I'm doing? Like if you are, I don't know, don't believe in Western medicine, but you work in a hospital, right? You're automatically going against your values. So what's your belief? Like, that's a non-negotiable value. Is this workplace safe? If there's bullying, if there's like manipulation, any kind of abuse, like that's not safe. Should be a non-negotiable that you are respected and safe in your place of work. So some things to think about.
Yeah, 100%. Lastly, I think when it comes to alignment, guys, you're gonna know when you're not aligned, okay? You're gonna know, like, you're not gonna feel comfortable in your life if you're malaligned, okay? But let's talk about, I guess, when you are aligned.
Let's end it on a high.
What can you get out of life? I'm gonna start off by saying you believe in the power of manifesting. Your ability to create the life around you and to attract like abundance and a life that's fulfilling, that's something that you will believe in, and you won't be chasing, you'll be attracting like the life that you want through manifesting.
Because it all comes from within you.
Yeah.
So to align with our soul path, only we can get ourselves there. So there's no one that can help you. There's no job that's going to put you there, and no matter how fulfilling it is, this is something only we can do. So you just, like, part of that achievement and sense of alignment is like you just have, I don't know, this overwhelming sense of power, and you understand how you are the one in control of your life. You understand how you can make ripples happen in other people's lives. There's just, there's so many good things about being in alignment. You basically just wake up every day and you're like, I'm so happy. You're just like beaming because there's no reason for you not to be. Your life is working out well. Things are working out for you. You're attracting partners, jobs, opportunities, whatever. They'll just be falling on your path.
It's really easy to have gratitude when you're in alignment.
Yes, and that just attracts more good things. So like it's just
like
the opposite of the negative cycle. It's like the positive cycle.
And that's what we want to put out there, guys. It's like you believe in your manifestation powers. You are able to be grateful each day. You are finding more opportunities to get excited about life. Some things that might seem a little bit mundane, like, oh my gosh, how beautiful is the sun? How beautiful is this butterfly? How beautiful are the flowers around you? Whatever it is, you're finding ways to enjoy life. Yeah. And that is true alignment if we bring it back down to the basics.
Yeah, you're appreciating just being, just existing in the present. Like, it's just the ultimate peace.
Yeah, you have energy. Yeah.
And the reason that we said earlier that we're so excited to talk about this topic this week is because we're both noticing, I mean, we always have, but especially recently with a lot of clients, so many of you guys are feeling the pull to the 5D and into alignment, and a lot of people are resisting, which is natural. We all do that a couple of times at least before we're ready to actually cut the anchors and rise. So we are seeing a lot of people going, I feel this pull, I feel this call, I just know that, you know, this is so important, but then they have to do something really difficult in their 3D life that is not socially accepted, that is, you know, some big sacrifice. They're often very big things that are scary as hell. So that there's no joke. Like, it's a real thing, that a real hard thing to drop to get the benefits that you get on the other side.
And I think what Tahlia is getting at is there are some people, right, that have kind of found themselves in alignment, and they've had this realization that, oh my goodness, my marriage is not healthy for me. Oh my goodness, my job is not healthy for me. My relationship with my friends are not healthy for me. That awareness can become overwhelming, but what it's about is taking small steps at a time, because you might be surprised that the circle around you, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your colleagues, they might even elevate with you, you know, if you give them the chance. So try not to jump too quickly, just do everything in your own natural timing. But yeah, being awakened and aligned is this amazing experience that we truly hope everyone will get to.
Yeah, there's a reason why Spirit is so adamant and doesn't give up and just keeps pushing you until you align, is because, one, they want to see you in where they know your highest timeline is, but two, everyone you, like most people in your life that you know, are gonna, you're showing them the way.
Yeah.
And so they're also gonna align. So the impact just keeps increasing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's certainly a very big motive there on Spirit's part, I suppose, to get us all as highly aligned as possible. So it's not just because we want to, I don't know, see how spiritual everyone is. There's actually a really great purpose behind this stuff.
Yeah, it's all for your highest good. And Spirit want you back on your destined path. So that's why they're going to be niggling at you, and you're going to feel the pull, and you're going to feel the need to make moves.
And that of humanity in general.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please send us your questions. You can either comment on Spotify or on YouTube. We do also have a Facebook group. It's called Inspired Guidance Podcast on Facebook. So yeah, please send us your questions, whatever we can help with. We did really just drop a lot of content in this episode, so we hope that it's translating through. If not, yeah, please have a discussion with us. We know, we love to talk.
And we drop our episodes every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. And if something prompt a question, or if you feel like maybe you misunderstood something that we said, or you needed some additional clarification, please reach out to us. Sometimes it's really hard to cram all of the information into one episode and talk about it at the depth and the breadth that we would like to. So if there's anything that you wanted to ask us, please get in contact. We'd love to have a chat.
Yeah, we can make it simpler, we can go deeper, we'll do whatever. We'll adjust to whatever you guys need from us.
Beautiful.
So thank you for watching. We hope to see you next week.
See you guys. Bye.